The doctrine of the two realities. There are two kinds of people in the world, one governed by the spirit of charity and others governed by the spirit of avarice. The charitable people are spiritual. They're in a spiritual realm. They live by concepts or the conceptuality. They understand the world as concept and reality as concepts. And God speaks the world into existence as a concept. Concepts are not infinitely malleable. A concept is as real as what people think matter, energy, space, and time is. The concept of space is what we think of space, and the concept of space has all the attributes that we assign to space as a real objective reality. The spiritual person sees the concept of space as a concept and the attributes of space as the attributes belonging to the concept of space. And so it goes for time, energy, matter, tables, chairs, TVs, computers, and so on. They're all concepts. They're all defined in specific and limited ways. And if you use the concept of chair in an inappropriate way, you lose the ability to communicate. So, to retain sanity and reality, you have to use concepts in the proper way they're formatted. The person who is driven by avarice is a naturalist. Their life is based on greed, and so they become materialists, and they become driven by the desire, the need to accumulate matter, energy, space, and time elements. These can take many forms, even to sexuality, sexual licentiousness, money, greed, even sports is a materialist pursuit in that they are seeking to accumulate the experiences of the sport. They don't live by a spirit of charity, of being able to give. And business, you can link business and sports in or under the same heading, in that sports are a competitive enterprise and they're seeking to win, accumulate titles and so on, and glory. Business competes to make money and to win customers and so on. So they both have that same fundamental competitive edge of avarice, of accumulating. The spiritual person, the charitable person, the one governed by a spirit of charity, seeks to help. They're collaborative, not competitive. The spiritual person competes against himself, against their own limitations. The avaricious person competes against others. So there are two realities, one spiritual, one physical. The spiritual is based on conceptualities and is governed by a charitable outlook of people trying to be helpful, and the other is of people trying to gain certain benefits and ends, and so they will see others as competitors, and they will try and achieve their ends in competition with others. Even the left's um, efforts to be social justice warriors is just that individual combativeness taken up one notch to the group. And the left's role as social justice warrior isn't far removed from the left as armies and gangs and other groups that are designed for conflict, because just as the left can um, associate or come together to fight for some social agenda or social good, social end, this can manifest itself into an armed group or into a gang or whatever. It's just taken that acquisitiveness to the next level, where instead of fighting it out at the individual level, you're fighting it out at the group level. So the manifestation of war is a left phenomenon based on the acquisitiveness of the left. And the Bible tells us not to fill up our barns and thinking that we're all set for our future, because none of us knows what the future is. And it isn't achieved through acquiring natural goods or accumulating assets or equity. The conceptual or spiritual person is more focused on creating what businesses would call goodwill. So we're charitable. We go and give to gain the support of our Christian brothers and sisters. We're not relying on kind of an insurance where you pay into a fund so that you have this fund and you think, wow, I've got this multi-million-dollar company behind me. What we do is we help our neighbor on the expectation of help in return when we need it. So this is the two different realities that there is. And if you think the world is all composed of matter, energy, space, and time, then your life, your behavior, your interaction with others will be based on a competitive desire to gain an end and a benefit. And it tends to, whether you look at it as a zero-sum game or not, it tends to operate or come out, manifest itself as the assumption that we're talking about a zero-sum game, because matter, energy, space, and time ultimately is finite, and so the products of matter, energy, space, and time are finite. And so the competition ultimately becomes a finite battle over a pool of natural and human products. So the left worldview is a zero-sum game of conflict in which you try to acquire as much as you can in competition with others. And as I said, we see this in sports and business and in war and in nationalism and on the left's version of nationalism. The right as a conceptual based worldview is more interested in achieving relationships and being able to communicate, creating open communications and avenues of communication, and to deal with communication. We're based on our worldview is based on concepts and on improving and purifying those concepts. And as we said in an earlier video, the power of Christianity is in the purity of its concepts. Our concepts cohere. We have a coherent worldview. It holds together, it's consistent, and this gives us our power because we can think and act and believe and speak in a coherent, consistent way, whereas atheists and the left ultimately create an inconsistent and incoherent and conflicting dialogue or narrative. And that is the doctrine of the two realities in a nutshell. Thanks for watching.